Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB and today is the 16th of Jan 2023 and the global cryptocurrency market is on the verge of reaching the $1 trillion mark. Now will that thing happen? I really am not sure because I very strongly feel guys, once we hear more news about DCG, Gemini and Genesis exchange, the global cryptocurrency market might be on the verge of collapse. But once again, all my past predictions are 100% right 50% of the time. Now in today's episode, we are definitely going to be discussing about the global cryptocurrency market, and Decentraland has been doing absolutely brilliant since the last 7 days. It is up by well over 79%. And in today's episode, we're also going to be discussing inflation and its impact on crypto and what mainstream media has to say. But once again, guys, my biggest worry is about Genesis, DCG, and Gemini. And the breaking news is that the Security Exchange Commission has charged Genesis and Gemini for unregistered offer and sale of crypto asset securities through the Gemini Earn Lending program. So we'll definitely go ahead and discuss all those things in today's episode. And Daily Coin has given a very short summary as well. Now in today's episode, we're also going to be talking about the king of meme coins, that is Shiba Inu. And looks like there is a lot of investments flowing into its metaverse. So we'll be discussing about a whale who spent approximately $30 million worth of Shiba Inu, and most likely these funds will be helped to building a better and safer metaverse. Now last week guys, in the Blockchain DXB Metaverse Everything podcast, we did mention about the World Economic Forum did highlight the use case of Industrial Metaverse. Now I did read through the article, and the article was very short and sweet. Since the last few weeks I'm completely blown away with ChatGPT. So what I did in today's episode, once again, I just put the article in ChatGPT and I asked ChatGPT to make a summary of this article. So I'll definitely go ahead and read through some interesting points regarding ChatGPT. And I did the same thing once again guys, and that is to do regarding two news from UAE. Now in the Crypto and Coffee at 8 podcast, I always cover two news from UAE. Now the first news is about Dubai Custom that discusses further trading cooperation with Arabian Brazil Chambers of Commerce, and I'll go ahead and explore where blockchain fits in. But the second news is where I use ChatGPT. Now there is an interview with Mrkt, who is the managing director of Ripple. Now to be honest, if you read through the interview, it is extremely long. So what I tried to do is, I tried to cheat the system. I tried to take a shortcut. And what I did, I literally copied his entire interview on ChatGPT. And I asked ChatGPT to make a summary of the interview. Once the summary was out, I once again asked ChatGPT to highlight the positives and the negatives of the interview. And finally, to make it even simpler, I asked ChatGPT to make a speech for this particular podcast. All my work was done by ChatGPT, but the craziest thing is, it got done entirely in 10 seconds. Now to be honest, I haven't read the interview, so while I'm recording the podcast, it'll be the very first time that I'll actually be reading the interview of Mrkt. Now let me know your thoughts guys. I do think that the work that ChatGPT puts in is absolutely brilliant and scary at the same time, but that is definitely the way how technology is going to go forward, and we definitely have to go ahead and adapt to it. Now let's kickstart today's episode. Welcome to the Crypto and Coffee at 8, the daily podcast that keeps you up to date on all latest developments in the world of cryptocurrencies, blockchain, and NFTs. Join us Monday to Friday as we kick off your day with a cup of coffee and a deep dive into the exciting and rapidly evolving world of digital assets. We'll cover the latest news and trends in the cryptocurrency and blockchain space, as well as delve into the growing world of NFTs or non-fungible tokens and Metaverse. Plus, we'll keep you updated on the latest developments from Dubai, UAE and the wider Middle East region. Whether you're a seasoned crypto enthusiast or just getting started, Crypto and Coffee at 8 has something for you. Our expert host will provide insight and analysis on the most important topics in the industry and help you stay up to date on the latest developments. We'll bring you interviews with leading figures in the crypto and blockchain space and explore the ways in which these technologies are changing the world around us, from the impact on traditional financial systems to the potential for revolutionizing industries and transforming societies. We'll cover it all on Crypto and Coffee at 8. So tune in and join us for a daily dose of Crypto and Coffee at 8, and let's stay ahead of the curve together. We'll start your day off right with the most important news and insights from the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain, and the metaverse, and help you navigate this exciting and rapidly evolving landscape. In Crypto and Coffee at 8, the daily podcast covers the latest developments in the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain, and the metaverse. We'll also bring you updates on the latest news from Dubai, UAE and wider Middle East region. This also includes a range of topics such as developments in the local and blockchain industry, including new projects and initiatives, regulatory updates, and policies related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region, local and regional events and conferences focused on crypto and blockchain, interviews with leading figures in Dubai, UAE and Middle East crypto and blockchain community, coverage of any significant news or events related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region. By covering these local and regional developments, in addition to the wider world of cryptocurrency and blockchain, Crypto and Coffee at 8 aims to provide a comprehensive overview of the industry and its impact on the Dubai, UAE and Middle East region. Now before we kickstart today's episode, I have an important message, so check this out. Firstly guys, Startup OI is global one-tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called Rise in the Obstacle Course Race, and Rise in the Obstacle Course Race podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gov Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform and search for Rise in the Obstacle Course Race podcast. And finally guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now, since we've taken care of that, let's look at the global cryptocurrency market. Now, as of today, 16th of Jan, the global crypto market is at $980.86 billion. Now, to be honest, guys, while I started preparing for this podcast, the global cryptocurrency market was at $998 billion. Now, since the last 1 or 2 hours, almost $18 billion has been wiped off from the market. Now, I was hoping that we do cross the $1 trillion mark. So hopefully by the end of 16th, we might cross the $1 trillion mark. Now, since the last 24 hours, it is marginally up by 0.98%, and the total crypto market volume over the last 24 hours is $51.82 billion. Now, that being said, since the last 24 hours, it is down by 2.27%. Now, we are going to be discussing the reason for the hike, and I very strongly feel because the inflation numbers are out, the whales are manipulating the market. So it's going to be really interesting to see the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, particularly on Tuesday and Wednesday. Now look guys, listen to my podcast that I released on Thursday. I very specifically mentioned look at the cryptocurrency market volume over the weekend, and that is exactly what happened. Now let's look at the volume of DeFi. The total volume in DeFi is $4.91 billion, and the total value locked is $44.87 billion. And Lido's dominance is 17.10%, and $7.6 billion is locked in its protocol. Now, DeFi accounts for 9.48% of the total crypto market volume. Now, to be honest, this is the very first time I've seen this number, that DeFi accounts for over 9.48%, probably in 3 months or so. In 2020 and 2021, DeFi used to count for roughly 10 to 15% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. Mrkt is number 2nd and $7.01 billion is locked in this protocol. Aave is number 3rd at $4.51 billion, and Core Finance at number 4th at $4.26 billion. Now look guys, for the past 3 months or so, Uniswap has always been the top 5 protocols where the total value locked is concerned. But this time, it is Convex Finance which is at number 5 and $3.75 billion is locked in this protocol. Now one thing to remember when you talk about Convex Finance, this protocol deposits into other protocol or is under liquid staking category, kind of similar to Lido. So when you talk about its total value locked, it is important to know that it is subtracted from the total value locked because both liquid staking and double counting toggles are off. So definitely important stuff. Now let's look at the volume of stablecoins. The volume of stablecoins is at $46.22 billion. There the USDT accounts for $34.51 billion. Circle USDC accounts for $2.86 billion and Binance USD at $8.38 billion. Now look guys, this might be a very first time where the global cryptocurrency market is on the verge of reaching $1 trillion and the volume of stablecoins is low. To be honest, I personally think it is a brilliant sign. It just means that people in the cryptocurrency world are using cryptocurrencies, and it's definitely bullish for the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now that thing being said, stablecoin still accounts for 89.18% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. Now guys, let's look at the market share, 24-hour trading volume and dominance between Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin's market share is at $401 billion and Ethereum's market share is well below the 50% mark of Bitcoin's market share at $189.2 billion. The 24-hour trading volume of Bitcoin is $23.5 billion and Ethereum at $7.7 billion. The dominance of Bitcoin has gone up and it is currently at 41.02% and the dominance of Ethereum is 19.30%. Now this week guys, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be giving out some information regarding the decentralized apps or dApps. So what I thought, every day I'll try to look at different metrics. Now today's matrix, what I'm going to be looking at is the total value of assets in dApp smart contracts. Tomorrow I'll try to look at the active number of users. Day after tomorrow I'll try to look at the number of volume which is spent in the 24 hours and quite a lot of other. Now today, so far as the total value of assets in dApp smart contracts is concerned, ETH2 deposit smart contract is at $24.9 billion, followed by Crow King. Now to be honest guys, I have absolutely no clue what this is. So Crow King has $21.21 billion locked and looks like the blockchain protocol that it is using is Kronos. Now to be honest, it is surprising that I haven't heard about it absolutely at all. So shame on me, and probably I need to do more research on this. And the third one is Polygon Proof of Stake Bridge and $3.77 billion is locked. Now if you look at the difference between the first, second and the third, the difference is absolutely massive. Now let's look at the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin. The price of Bitcoin is $20,842 and since the last 24 hours it is marginally up by 0.54%. Since the last 7 days it is up by 20.71%. Ethereum is at $1,547. Since the last 24 hours it is up by 1.04%. Since the last 7 days it is up by 17.02%. Binance Coin is on the verge of crossing the $300 mark. It is at $299, $299.67 to be precise. Since the last 24 hours it is up by 0.62%. Since the last 7 days it is up by 7.26%. Now what are your price predictions guys? Will the global cryptocurrency market cross the $1 trillion, or by Tuesday or Wednesday the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies will crash? Mention your comments in the comment sections below. And one thing which I always say, all price predictions are 100% right 50% of the time. Now since the last 7 days though, Decentraland or Mono has been doing ridiculously good and it is leading the pack with 79% in 7 days. So definitely brilliant stuff. Now looks like Metaverse protocols are definitely looking green. The sandbox or sand is also green and it is up by 34%. Now look guys, the massive news that is going on right now is about Security Exchange Commission. And the news is that the US Security Exchange Commission charges Genesis and Gemini for unregistered offer and sale of crypto asset securities through the Gemini Earn lending program. Now, if you do want to find out the official link, go to the US Security Exchange Commission. They have given the full filings and the charges claim Genesis and Gemini raised billions of dollars worth of crypto assets from hundreds of thousands of investors. Investigations into security law violations and into different entities and persons relating to the alleged misconducts are ongoing. And as alleged in the complaint, in December 2020, Genesis entered into an agreement with Gemini to offer its customers, including retail investors in the United States, an opportunity to loan their crypto assets to Genesis in exchange for interest. And this is where it gets interesting, guys. Beginning in February of 2021, Genesis and Gemini began offering the Gemini Earn program, through which investors tendered the crypto assets to Genesis, with Gemini acting as the agent to facilitate the transaction. However, in November of 2022, Genesis announced that it would not allow its Gemini Earn investors to withdraw their crypto assets because Genesis lacked sufficient liquidity assets to meet withdrawal requests following the volatility in the crypto asset market. And as of today, these retail investors have still not been able to withdraw their crypto assets. So it looks like the whole drama between Winklevoss brothers and Barry Silbert was 100% right. And Cameron Winklevoss did put out a letter via Twitter, and Barry Silbert did actually deny that. So absolutely not a good look from Barry Silbert's point. Now guys, if you read through the article, the SEC's complaint alleges that the Gemini Earn program constitutes an offer and sale of securities under applicable law and should have been registered with the Commission. And Security Exchange Chair Gary Gensler said, "We allege that Genesis and Gemini offered unregistered securities to the public, bypassing disclosure requirements designed to protect investors. Today's charges build on previous actions to make clear to the marketplace and the investing public that crypto lending platforms and other intermediaries need to comply with the time-tested securities laws. Doing so best protects investors. It promotes trust in markets. It's not optimal. It's the law." And the Security Exchange Commission's complaint filed in the U.S. District for the Southern District of New York charges Genesis and Gemini with violations of Section 5A and 5C of the Securities of 1933. The complaint seeks permanent injunctive relief, disgorgement of ill-gotten gains, plus prejudgment interest, and several penalties. So definitely not ideal. And one thing, guys, which I've been saying since a very long time, this could have severe consequences if Barry Silbert does decide to sell funds from Grayscale Investments, and Grayscale Investments has well over 64,000 bitcoins. Now one thing, guys, which is bothering me at the back of the mind, could it be possible that Genesis, Gemini, and Barry Silbert are trying to manipulate the price, pumping the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, so that way they are in a position that they don't have to liquidate the assets? Now look, guys, if you know the notorious actors in the cryptocurrency world, absolutely everything is possible. And Daily Coin also has an excellent summary of the entire drama, and the article that they published states that the SEC alleged that the Genesis lent $575 million to its parent company, that is DCG or Digital Currency Group. The lent out funds included Gemini Earn customers' assets and was used by DCG to invest in other companies and repurchase DCG stocks. So definitely not ideal. Now what are your thoughts, guys? Could it be possible that these whales are trying to manipulate the market so that the funds don't get liquidated? Let me know in your comment sections below. Now ever since the inflation numbers were out, it did have a positive impact on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. This, to be honest, is not ideal. Now let me share just 3 articles that do actually state and confirm that. Bloomberg's article states that Bitcoin surged over 21,000 on Saturday amid optimism that it might have bottomed and inflation had peaked. Apart from that, CoinDesk just few hours ago also stated that Bitcoin surges on inflation tailwinds hover near 21k. And Seeking Alpha did publish an article a few days ago that states Bitcoin is set to end week 17% higher as cooling inflation spurts risk on sentiment. Now look, guys, we are really happy that the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency has tanked, but it should not be connected to inflation numbers. because if you've been looking at the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, unfortunately, stablecoins is turning out to be a safe haven during times of inflation. This, in the long term and at a macro level, is definitely not ideal. Now let's talk about some news regarding Shiba Inu. And Whale Alert mentioned via Twitter that approximately $30 million worth of Shiba Inu was transferred from an unknown wallet to an unknown wallet. Now here's the interesting bit. News BTC published an article stating that the address used in the transactions aren't associated with cryptocurrency market, so it's unlikely that the action has anything to do with buying or selling the trending meme coin. So could it be possible that these funds are used to build a better metaverse experience? Now in the article, which is written by News BTC, it did actually state that the Shiba Inu team is currently focusing on metaverse, so it could be possible that these funds of $30-odd million might be used to creating a better metaverse experience. So definitely brilliant stuff. And look guys, last week in my Blockchain DXB Metaverse Everything podcast, I did talk about World Economic Forum, and they had written an article talking about the Industrial Metaverse. And what I did mention in my Metaverse Everything podcast, that I'll be covering that news in the Crypto and Coffee at 8 podcast. And what I did, I used ChatGPT to give me a summary. So guys, what you're hearing next is the summary of the article written by World Economic Forum about the industrial use cases of Metaverse, but it is entirely taken from ChatGPT. So here it goes. We will be discussing the impact of Metaverse on the industry and business. The Metaverse, which is the fusion of digital and physical worlds, is already having a significant impact on industry and businesses. Even before it reaches its full potential in the consumer realm, digital twin technology, which fuses digital and physical realities, is already in widespread use across industries, including shipping and aerospace. We are witnessing the rapid emergence of a metaverse focused solely on industry. This industrial metaverse may still be in the formative stages, but its early adoption of digital twinning is already showing results, increasing productivity and efficiency, boosting safety and enabling new levels of flexibility to industrial sectors hardly known for their agility. So far, digital twins have been used mainly for monitoring and analysis, but the full potential of the industrial metaverse is far greater. As edge and cloud processing capabilities, private 5G wireless networks, and new sensing, interface and AI technologies are added to the mix, we'll move from a state of awareness to a state of control. Instead of merely digitally monitoring the factory floor, we'll be able to virtually manipulate it. Workers will perform augmented maintenance with detailed schematics and step-by-step visual instructions projected into the field of view over the machinery they are repairing. Eventually, some of those same maintenance workers will work from safety of the desks, taking virtual control of repair robots they can command remotely. Automated robots will operate within both physical and digital realities, gaining awareness of every person, machine and process on the factory floor so they can orchestrate the task in the most efficient way possible. We'll also see complete fusion of operational technologies with the metaverse, allowing industry to reconfigure the operations to constantly changing supply and demand. The metaverse will also merge with IT, with metaverse-powered collaboration and communication tools becoming crucial for business. The metaverse has the potential to revolutionize the way we work, and it's exciting to see how it's already affecting the industry and businesses. Now look guys, this is a summary written by ChatGPT about an article which was published by World Economic Forum about the industrial business. Now I'm completely blown away guys that we as a podcaster don't need to do absolutely any work. We just copy the article and tell ChatGPT to make a summary and make a speech. Now later on when I'm discussing the second news from UAE, I'm once again going to be reading out a speech entirely written by ChatGPT. But let's go ahead and explore the first news from UAE, and that is about Dubai Custom discusses furthering trade cooperation with Arab business chambers of commerce. And I'm going to go ahead and explore where blockchain kicks in. Now the source for this article is by the official government agency called as Emirates News Agency, and the website is www.wam.ae. That is W for water, A for alpha, M for mother.ae. And Dubai Custom discusses further trading cooperation with Arab Brazilian chambers of commerce, and Dubai Custom provides the best custom services and facilities to traders and investors in support of the business in Dubai. Countries of South America, especially Brazil, are witnessing growth in mutual trade with the Emirate. The Dubai Economic Agenda, called as D33, launched by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, Vice President and Prime Minister of the UAE and the ruler of Dubai, includes 100 transformative projects with economic targets of doubling our foreign trade to reach 25 trillion dirhams and adding 400 cities as key trading partners. Now, keeping all these things in mind, I do feel that blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies will play an absolutely massive role, and His Excellency Ahmad Mahbub Usabi, Director General of Dubai Customs, CEO of Ports Customs and Freezing Corporation, said Dubai Customs plays a pivotal role in boosting the UAE's external trade through expanding economic partnership and accords with other countries around the world. And look guys, if you read through the article, he has said quite a lot of things. On this podcast, I'm just going to give a summary. Now, what he said is that they want to enhance cooperation with trade and investment entities around the world, and they had a meeting with Arab Brazilian Chambers of Commerce to brief them on their distinctive performance in developing smart AI services, and these developments will help to foster trade relationships with Brazil and respond quicker to their needs. Now let me try to go ahead and explain where does blockchain fit in, because the UAE has become a major link between international markets, especially after the launch of Authorized Economic Operator Program, which consolidated trade and custom linkage. Companies, members of the program, enjoy a plethora of benefits, including easy access to global markets, especially for countries of market with which UAE have signed mutual recognition agreements, and there are now 107 companies that have joined the program in the UAE. Now, as per the article, it says that blockchain digital integration will be used between customs in Dubai and authorities in charge of foreign trade in Brazil. Now, at this point of time, I'm not sure if this is an open blockchain protocol or if it is a permission or centralized blockchain protocol. So it's going to be really interesting to see once the news develops. But this blockchain digital integration saves custom transactions time through advanced sharing of shipment document for authentication, which helps avoid delays and cut down costs on businesses. And blockchain technology can also be used for pre-tracking commercial shipments coming from Brazil to Dubai and later on as they transit to regional and global markets. So blockchain technology is definitely getting a lot of international recognition, and trade transactions between Brazil and Dubai will be absolutely brilliant. Now guys, let's talk about the second news. And look guys, in the second news, I've once again taken the help of ChatGPT. Now when I read through the news, it is an entire interview. Now I didn't have time to go and read through the entire interview. So what I did guys, I went to ChatGPT and I copy pasted the entire interview, and I asked ChatGPT, can you give me a summary in the form of bullet points? And this is what ChatGPT said. Now this interview was done by Naveen Gupta, who's the managing director of Ripple. So what I'm reading out is just the bullet points, not the actual interview, and the bullet point states that Ripple is bullish on MENA expansion to cash in on crypto payment surge, and Ripple's cross-border payments technology is used by enterprises and its clients are primarily banks, payment service providers, and other fintechs. The overall payment volume on its payment network, that is RippleNet, exceeds $15 billion, and its global on-demand liquidity volume has grown ninefold year on year. And Ripple, a blockchain-based payment technology provider, is seeing increased interest from Middle Eastern and North African region, also called as MENA region, particularly institution, in its on-demand liquidity solution, which is being used to underpin the remittances services they offer. And on-chain demand liquidity allows both companies' treasury managers to obtain the foreign currency liquidity they need, freeing up working capital and avoiding the need to pre-fund notional accounts based on projected volume. And Ripple's clients are primarily banks, payment service providers, and other fintechs. Ripple's on-demand liquidity crypto solution is used to facilitate global movements between different currencies by providing lower-cost transactions and instant settlement through the use of XRP, which is Ripple's cryptocurrency. And Ripple is also actively working with local payment service providers, banks, and universities in the region to expand its presence and support the development of the crypto ecosystem. Now look guys, I'm reading this for the very first time. So once again, when I found out about this news, I just copy pasted this news, I put it on ChatGPT, and I asked them to do a summary. And to be honest, I'm just reading it for the very first time. Let me know what your thoughts are. What I thought next is let me ask ChatGPT to highlight some of the positives and the negatives, and it did highlight some of the positives and the negatives based on the interview of Naveen Gupta, the managing director of Ripple. Now look guys, I went one step further and I asked ChatGPT, why don't you make it as a speech for my podcast? Now believe me guys, I'm reading it for the very first time, so I have no idea what I'm reading, but let me know what you think of it. So here it goes. The positives from the news are, Ripple is seeing increased interest from Middle East and North Africa institutions in its on-demand liquidity or ODL solutions, which has been used to underpin the remittance services they offer. On-demand liquidity allows companies' treasury managers to obtain the foreign currency liquidity they need, freeing up working capital and avoiding the need to pre-fund notional accounts based on projected volumes. Ripple's clients are primarily banks, payment service providers, or other fintechs. The overall payment volume on its payments network RippleNet exceeds $15 billion, and its global on-demand liquidity volume has grown ninefold year-on-year. Ripple's on-demand liquidity crypto solution is used to facilitate global movements between different currencies by providing low-cost transactions and instant settlement through the use of XRP, Ripple's cryptocurrency. Ripple is actively working with local payment service providers, banks, and universities in the region to expand its presence and support the development of the crypto ecosystem. Ripple is providing a new way of doing business with more flexibility and choice to customers while reducing payment flow friction. Ripple technology allows customers to grow and scale quickly with new partners and currencies by simplifying the onboarding process and enabling payments through multiple currencies. Now let's talk about the negative points. Despite technological advances, cross-border payments remain a challenge for payment service providers and small and medium-sized enterprises who are left pre-funding accounts and holding trapped capital that could be better deployed to help grow and scale their business. Some traditional financial institutions have been hesitant to adopt the use of crypto in the past. While traditional financial institutions have been slower to adopt, MENA is currently seeing an increase in new services and adoption in the region by both customers and enterprises. It's not clear if it is a widespread adoption yet. And look guys, this is the positive and negatives from the interview. Let me know your thoughts. I'm completely blown away guys. And most likely I definitely will be using ChatGPT ongoing. So that's all for today guys on the Crypto and Coffee at 8 from Blockchain DXB. In case if you guys have any feedback or suggestions, please drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com and also check out my website, that is area2071.com, that talks everything about Metaverse, and also check out my cryptocurrency and blockchain website, that is Blockchain DXB. Now if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating and share the word across. Now for the next few minutes it's going to be an Ask Me Anything series where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi and Metaverse. So let's get started with the Ask Me Anything series. Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB. You're listening to the Ask Me Anything series where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi and Metaverse. And I have a question by Charlie who asks, what specific use cases do you see about ChatGPT in the cryptocurrency space? Now look Charlie, so far as podcasting is concerned, I'm already using that, but let's say there are a lot of people who write blogs. I don't see a reason why you would not want to use ChatGPT. So essentially what you can do is, if you have recorded interviews, you can have a transcript done automatically. You can use that transcript, put it in ChatGPT and ask them to prepare a report. You can publish that report in any of the medium blogs, and there are quite a lot of companies who are willing to pay quite a lot of money just because of these blogs. Apart from that, you can use ChatGPT for writing codes. One of the very first things that I did when I found out about ChatGPT is I asked it to write a code to create a Bitcoin Lightning network for my website, and it did write a very brilliant code. It also offers suggestions on how you can go and change it. Now listen, if you're someone who's into code, you definitely need to check it out. One thing which I often say is ChatGPT is good, but it is scary good. What you can do is, Charlie, you can also ask ChatGPT to write a white paper, or you can take an existing white paper, copy and paste it in ChatGPT and ask it to make a couple of changes or amendments. Now, I really am not sure where plagiarism kicks in because it changes the entire thing. Here's the thing, Charlie. You can take ChatGPT, take the white paper of any cryptocurrency protocol, ask them to make changes, and maybe even say that make it Sharia compliant or have certain rules and regulations that you want to put in. That is the power of artificial intelligence, and that is the power of ChatGPT. Now, this part of time, I really am not sure where this plagiarism kicks in, and I definitely wouldn't recommend for absolutely anyone to simply copy-paste other people's work. But apart from that, even in blockchain protocols, and one of the biggest use case, Charlie, which I'm thinking of doing is I can make the entire podcast 100% automated without even me talking absolutely anything in the podcast. So for that, what I need to do is there is a service called as Descript. So essentially what I need to do is I need to utilize the service of Descript. Now in Descript, I just need to record, let's say 30 minutes or 60 minutes or 90 minutes of my voice, and they have given a speech, so I just need to follow them. Once I do that, they use artificial intelligence to recognize my voice, recognize my accents, recognize my emotions, and it takes roughly around 24 to 48 hours to go ahead and make the changes. The next time, if I were to write absolutely any random sentence, it would actually replicate my voice with the emotions. And what I can do is I can use ChatGPT to write my podcast speech, and I can just copy and paste that on Descript, and Descript will just give my voice automatically. So in a way, I've got my entire podcast done 100% automated. Now there is definitely work involved, but the work involved is less than 90% of what I'm doing. So definitely shortcut. But once again, it isn't that you're cheating the system, you're just using technology in the right way. And I definitely do think that newer generations will definitely be using ChatGPT in comparison to Google quite a lot. And apart from that, their use cases are just going to keep on growing, and I'm sure there's going to be some strong competition for ChatGPT. And as long as if the services are free, I definitely think that ChatGPT is definitely going to end the reign of Google. So that's all for today, guys, on the Ask Me Anything series from Blockchain DXB. In case if you have any feedback or suggestions, please drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my website www.blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my website area2071.com that talks everything about Metaverse. And if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. And remember, guys, Monday to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. we have Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And how the series of episodes in the Crypto and Coffee at 8 works is we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE, and Middle East in the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And what you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions from the cryptocurrency world. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a nice one. Bye-bye.